Hello.
Hey, Derek, Nick Fiskin.
Nick, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm well.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Miss Martin. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good, good. Now, I think you mentioned that both Mary Carol and Maria could not attend, but Michael could. Is that
I did.
okay?
And I just texted Michael from my virtual background.
Okay, good. Well, so Nick, we'll need Michael to have a quorum.
Okay. Okay.
I think we're all hiding in our offices at the police department.
Well, today's one of the windiest days I can remember in Little Rock.
Oh, I haven't been outside much. Is it? Well, I can hear it, but I haven't gone out to feel it.
Yeah, I went out to get a coffee this afternoon, and the revolving doors in the Stevens building were turning by themselves.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hello?
Hello, Michael.
Yeah, it's me. Good evening, everyone. Sorry
Hello.
being late.
Oh, no worries. No worries. No
Michael.
worries.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Thank you.
Martin, do you know if anyone, I know Maria and Mary Carol can't be here, but are we expecting anyone else that's not on the line?
No, because the training that you will get tonight, Jim Brooks is doing, and obviously he is the host. I
Okay.
thought we would have the social worker, but I believe she couldn't make it tonight.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, Mike, Nick, this is going to go pretty fast because with limited number of attendees, I think it's going to motions and seconds are going to be by default. But hopefully we can get through these items pretty quickly and have the training. Although I am a little disappointed that Maria and Mary Carol aren't able to attend, and we'll have to make arrangements for them. But why don't we go ahead? It is 6:03. We do have a quorum. So why don't we go ahead and call this meeting to order? Smart, and I was using your screen as my agenda. I think I'm sorry.
I can share.
Was that you, Mr. Brooks, that had the
Yes, sir.
agenda?
There we go.
Perfect. I think the first thing on the agenda is approval of minutes from our last meeting. I think Mary Carol and Miss Martin circulated those before the meeting that was originally scheduled for 2 weeks ago. I think I'll take a motion to approve those minutes in a second if we can, or corrections.
All right, this is Mike, and I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Thank you. I guess without objection, we'll consider those approved. Why don't we let's jump out of order here and do election of officers if we can, and then we can do the training and then complete the meeting. According to our bylaws, officers are to be elected at the February meeting, and we have 4 offices: chair, vice chair, secretary, and parliamentarian. The bylaws provide that the vice chair automatically succeeds the chair at the end of the chair's term. Our current vice chair is Mr. Fiskin, so congratulations, you are now the chair. And then I think when we did officers before, we sort of assumed that the individual who was elected as a secretary would move up to the vice chair slot, the individual, and that's Mary Carroll. The individual who is the parliamentarian would become secretary. That is Ms. Smedley. And then we would have to have a nomination for parliamentarian. And so with that, I think unless there are objections, and it's a good thing that Maria and Mary Carroll are not here, so they can't object. So with that, I think we need a nomination for parliamentarian. I have someone in mind, but I'll let.
You tell, Mr. Chairman.
I think I would nominate Michael Harris to be parliamentarian.
Second.
I think without objection, we will elect Mr. Harris to the position of parliamentarian, Miss Mary Carroll to position secretary, and Ms. Medley to position Mary Carroll position of vice chair, and Ms. Smedley position of secretary. That concludes elections. Chair Fiskin,
Yes,
you are
sir.
now chair.
Well, thank you, former chair.
Thank you. You are welcome. You are welcome. Congratulations. Well, I think that moves us through that portion of the agenda pretty efficiently. I think the next thing on the agenda is the sort of training update, and I guess Mr. Brooks, I believe you were going to do that for us.
Yes, sir. I'm going to, first I'm going to stop sharing the screen so you can see my face. Not that that's a great thing. My name is Jim Brooks. I'm the supervisor of the Little Rock Police Department's Crime Analysis Unit, and deal a lot with the manipulation. Well, manipulation is not the right word. Sharing of data, but you have to manipulate it to share it, I guess. So that's right. What I'm going to be doing today is walking y'all through some of the open data, police data that we have on the city's website and the police department's website. You may be familiar with this. If you are, just tell me. I've been there, done that. I know what this is. But we're going to be looking at a couple of applications that you could use, or you could tell other people about. My email address is jbrooks@littlerock.gov. You can email me with any questions, and I'll be happy to help you. The Crime Analysis Unit basically wrangles all of the data for the police department, make maps, charts, graphs. We assist the department in identifying areas of concern, or areas where we need additional patrol, things like that. So I'm going to start at the city's website. I'll share my screen and start at the city's website and show you a couple of tools that may come in handy to you in helping you do your business. Can everyone see my screen? It's the main page of the city's website. Can you see that?
Yes.
All right.
I can.
All right, at the top of the screen, right at the top of the screen under residents, you can see the police department section right here. When you click on that, you go to the main part of the Little Rock Police Department's website. Under 21st century policing, the first thing I want to show you is the LRPD policies are published here. These and these are up-to-date policies as they are changed and approved. This website is automatically updated to show them. So if you have it's easily marked. You can see what all the general orders are and about. For example, if you're interested in media relations and information release, click on that, and you can here is a 8-page PDF of all of the Little Rock Police Department's policy on media relations and information release. So this is just a handy. It's available to everyone who has a web browser that can hit the Little Rock Police Department's website. I don't know that there's anything particular in here that may be sensitive. I imagine if there is, it's been not scrubbed, but it's in here somewhere. But anyway, you can see the LRPD policies. That's where our policies are published.
Quick question on the policies.
Yes, sir.
I presume that they can change or be updated throughout the year. Is there any way to know about a change as it occurs, or do you only see kind of as it is, and if it changed, you don't know what it looked like before? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. And I will, I believe we get emails whenever the policies are changed or updated. Those are internal documents, but I will check and see if there's a way we can compile a list, either weekly or monthly or quarterly, of policy changes in that period of time, and at the very least push that out to y'all. So I'm gonna write that down on my notepad. Laura, do you know of anything along those lines?
I think she's muted.
I think she's muted. I will check on that because I know I get routine emails whenever a policy changes. I will check with Jared Purifoy, who oversees the general orders and the Accreditation Bureau, and see if there's a document that exists that we can share with y'all that just lets you know. Otherwise, you're going to have to read every one of these general orders and then remember what it used to be to see that. Because I know as they're updated, it's changed here, but you have no way of knowing what's been updated unless we tell you. So that's a good point, and I will chase that.
I will check on it as well, Derek and Mr. Chair, because one of the things that's really important for you as a review board is sometimes policies are changed as a reaction to an occurrence in the department. And so in your evaluation of, certain files that you may be forwarded, it could be that a policy changes before you even get the file to review. And so that would be an important thing for you to know so that you're not discussing, something that needs to be done that's already been done. So Jim and I will follow up on that. I don't know that if you want it the way we get it, internal emails, because we can't even keep up with that. So maybe there is a document that the lieutenant can provide and we push that out to you. So we'll check on that.
Okay, great. Yeah, just maybe a monthly or quarterly, just sort of these are the changes.
Okay.
I think that would be helpful.
And we're lucky that I happen to share an office with the man whose responsibility it is to do that. So I can just yell at him from my office and say, hey, what's up with that? And maybe get an answer quicker than having to send an email across town.
Jim, is this
Perfect.
a frequent event? Just give me an idea how many times this happens in the calendar year.
I'll get an email from Jared usually once a month, once or twice a month. Most of the changes are fairly esoteric, changing typos or misspelling, but some of them are quite not radical, but quite extensive changes. And those changes are usually highlighted and bold-faced and underlined. So we know exactly what's changed from the old policies. And I can see how it would be necessary for you to not only know what the policy is now, but what the policy was at the time of the incident that you are reviewing. So that seems to me to be something that we ought to be able to get to y'all. And I should have thought of it before now, but I'm glad you did bring it up.
Right,
An
'cause I think-
example of a policy change is that I know the no knock was changed, and there have been several really significant changes that were not only changed within our department, but police departments across the country at least took a look at them and made some modifications. So excellent point. You guys are really good because that's extremely significant in the positions that you hold on this board.
Right, because I think the new sort of obligation to intercede or intervene
Mhm.
is something that's probably adopted in response to a state law, but it was after we did our initial training. So
Yes, I think that's the duty to intervene policy.
Yes. Are there any more questions on the LRPD policies part of the website? The next place I would go is this section here called Crime Stats. It's just a link right here on the main page. And when you get there, you can see it's one of my many responsibilities in the department is to update the weekly crime report. This is updated every Tuesday morning. And this is sort of what it looks like. It's basically the scoreboard for the police department. Lets us know where we stand in these part one. They're called part one offenses in the FBI. There's the 7 serious crimes, 4 violent and 3 property crimes that the FBI uses to calculate a crime rate for the city. So this is the most recent one. It was updated on the 14th. Shows we've had 10 homicides so far this year compared to 6 last year from the same period. That's up 67%. And we also calculate a 5-year average because we realize there could be a fluctuation year to year. The last 5-year average is it just happens to be 6, what it was last year. So we track all these part one offenses. And then we do that also for each of the 3 patrol divisions. So you can see which divisions are up or down in certain crimes. And it's even tracked down to the district level. I can already see one thing we need to improve on this. It would probably be helpful to put a map showing where the districts are. I know where the districts are because I live and breathe this stuff, but you might not know the difference between District 39 and District 55. I can tell you exactly what the difference is, but unless you know on a map, oh, I live in District 54, so I'm really interested in what's going on. We've had 1 homicide, 45 total violent crimes so far this year. So we're going to improve this next week by including maps of the patrol divisions within the document. So I'm going to make a mention of that in my notes as well. Include maps, district maps, and crime stats. So this is as I say, it's updated every Tuesday. And our week ends on Monday, and our next week starts on Tuesday. So there's that. Here's another tool that we use. It used to be that the people with scanners could follow the dispatches. We can't do that for officer safety reasons. This is the closest thing we have to being able to follow real-time police dispatches. It's on a 30-minute delay. So you'll notice the most recent thing happened at 1747. I think this is probably Eastern Standard Time because it would be 1647. But these are all the dispatches that have been in our CAD system. You can manipulate it by telling him you want to see all of them. You can even search by call type. I'll go up here and select burglary reports, and we'll Well, we've only had 2 burglary reports in the last 8 hours. And here are the addresses and here are the times. So this is a little tool that I know the news media uses it a lot to try to keep track of what's going on in the city from the dispatch end. So this is a nice tool. It's linked on the main website. So you can also search by street name if you want to search Barrow, execute search. Well, let's do all call types and then search Barrow, execute search. Oh, got to wait 15 seconds. Manual refresh and try that again. But you can, if you have a street you're interested in that you want to follow, you can put it in. I've got to wait 15 seconds before I can execute the search. So see if it hasn't been 15 seconds yet. I probably should have rehearsed this before.
Hey, Mr. Brooks, across the top, it says that the dispatches are delayed 30 minutes to 8 hours. Does that mean it could be between any time between 30 minutes and 8 hours, or is it always 30 minutes?
No, it's delayed 30 minutes and we only display 8 hours worth.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
It's only going to be, the oldest thing on there is always going to be 8 hours apart,
8 hours
8 hours and 30 minutes ago, I guess. So
Gotcha.
it's not live, and once it goes, it's not captured anywhere. So that's just that's the patrol dispatch. That's the dispatch stuff. Let's go back to the main city page. I'm going to show you. This is a tool that, as you learn to use it, it becomes extremely handy. You go down to the city's main page, and this little ribbon bar that goes across the bottom. You can look for Little Rock Data Hub. This is open data. This is and we're going to Citizen Connect. This too is updated every Tuesday. The same time I update the chart, we update this. Currently, it's default set to 311 requests. But we're going to put police incidents in there. Turn off these 3 little buttons because that can be confusing. And I'm going to set the date range as just February 1st, 14th. This is every police incident. This is all those Part 1 offenses that were in the crime stat chart. This is all of those Part 1 offenses on a map. We can, if you want to, we can choose several layers. Let's choose police patrol districts there. There's all the patrol districts. And as you zoom in, you can see these little police cars. This is a larceny at 2823 Tyler. It's another larceny. You can filter it down here by selecting, let's just choose aggravated assaults. That's an issue we're having problems with. These are aggravated assaults just for this month in the city. We'll go here. See, there's 11 of them right here. 7 of them. These are 7 aggravated assaults in one incident. What that means is, usually, I can tell you what this is probably. There is a statute in the city called Terroristic Act. Basically, it's a drive-by where people fire weapons out of a vehicle into a house. If there are 7 people in the house, it's 1 offense per victim. So this is 1 incident with 7 victims. Now, not all of those people were hit by bullets, but if someone fires a shot and hits a house that you're in, you're a victim of that aggravated assault. So this is an incident here with 7 victims. Here's an incident just up the street, only has 1. Here's another 3 victim incident. So you can look at it like that. You can play. I would encourage you to play with this, but you can also you can create a heat map out of it. That'll sort of give you a heat map. See right out here. Yes, I remember this incident. I'll turn the dot on and show you something crazy. See this one here that's got 24 pins? There they are, all splayed out. That was a drive-by at an apartment complex in East Little Rock. Several apartments were struck And in total, there were 24 people in those apartments. That's one incident that had 24 victims in it, and you can see it right there. So that's why that showed red when I did the heat map. So you can do that. Here's another fun, I don't know if any of this is fun, but another interesting thing you can do is you can put in an address. 700 West Markham Street. It'll draw a pin in the area. It defaults to a 1/4 mile radius. And let's select a longer time frame. Go back to January 1st of last year. You can see since January 1st of last year, 84 reports made at the main headquarters of Little Rock Police Department. And here's a breakdown of them. 30 larcenies, 17 auto B&Es. So this is the sort of a document. It's very widely used by realtors or people who call the police department saying, I'm thinking about buying a house at this address. Can you tell me what the crime looks like around it? This is the tool that we guide them to say, here's where you can find out what's going on in that particular address. It's not limited to police data. You can turn the police data off and just look at 311 requests. These are requests to the 311 where this one's got 5 trash complaints and 1 public works complaint. You can turn them both on, and then you can see the difference. The blues are the police and the yellows are the 311. So it's all, we try to make this like a one-stop shop for people in the neighborhoods to want to see what sort of crimes have been reported in their serious crimes. It doesn't have all crimes. It doesn't have prostitution or narcotics or misdemeanor assaults. It's got just those Part 1 offenses, but you can sort of get an impression about what's going on there. When you hit over here on the pin side, this is looking at this data and it puts it on a little time and date map. So you can see what day of the week and what hour of the day do we have more incidents or less. So that's kind of helpful. And then you can do a comparison, and it compares, there are 410 days in this particular time frame. So it compares the current 410 days to the previous 410 days. So you can see if crime is up or down in the time frame. So it's really flexible, but it is fiddly, and it's tough to learn how to use it. But once you do learn how to use it, you can get a lot of helpful information out of there. You can download the selected data by hitting this little button up here. It says download currently selected data, and it will kick it into a spreadsheet for you if you want to share it or do something else with it. So it's a very helpful tool for mapping crime and mapping crime in specific areas. So one last thing. Let me turn this off. It also lets you draw on it. So I'm gonna hit the draw button. Just draw square, enter, then it will populate. I must have drawn a square around the only part of the city that didn't have any crime last year because it's not working. But it's thinking about putting them in there. Let's see if it'll do that. This feature may not be working. There's another instance where I probably should have practiced before the meeting. But it's really flexible. Here's another thing you can do. You can hit this button that says create alert. When you hit that, you'll be prompted to create a sign in. It basically just needs an email address. Whenever something happens inside an area that you select, you'll get a email alert. So you can put your house in there. Anything that happens within a 1/4 mile of your house, whenever it's updated, if you've created an alert, you'll get an email saying in the last week, 3 different incidents happened within this quarter-mile radius of your house. And so you'll be able to follow in fairly real time. It's the newest data is never more than a week old. We haven't figured out how to do it daily yet. We like the week time frame because sometimes it takes a couple of days for us to get things right in the system. And we want it to be as accurate as we can before we put it up here for public consumption. But that is Citizen Connect. So those between the crime stats and the Citizen Connect, you should be able to track down anything you need as far as crime stats or crime in your area. Anything you need other than that, you're probably going to want to call me, or either I will do it or I'll put it on one of my 5 analysts that work for me. They each work in a different part of the city, so they're specialized in their areas. So we can get you any stats. That's roughly all I've prepared, unless you have questions, and I will try to answer them.
Jim, Nick Fiskin, thanks so much for everything. I'm gonna go off. I'll turn on my video since I'm talking. So you said earlier this is for type 1.
Yeah, part 1 offenses. Yes, sir.
Part 1 offenses. Are the other offenses not recorded because there's so many, or why is that?
We chose to start with part 1 offenses because those are the crimes that that the FBI uses to calculate their violent crime rates. They put out a book every year called Crime in the United States that compiles stats from all over the country. It calculates violent crime and property crime rates, and they have settled on those 7 serious crimes. Now, internally, we can track those other crime types,
Okay.
and we do, but we just haven't pushed it out to this application yet. And it's because we'll have in a year we'll have 160,000 different incident reports written, and about 10%, or less than 10%. I think last year was 14,500 maybe of those were part 1 offenses.
Okay.
Everyone knows we had 64 homicides, so so those are on here. So if you wanted to, for example, just to see. Thinking. Oh, I'm going to take this off. There's the map of our homicides going back to January 1st of 2021. And here it is in a heat map. So that's what that looks like. And that's what most people use it for, to see where the homicides are occurring. So but we understand the value of putting all 160,000 of those incident reports up. That's just a data integrity issue that is too big for us to tackle right now. We can track individual ones, but if you put all 160,000 on there, it turns the city into just a one big blob.
Yeah.
Jim, could you cover one other thing? A lot of the reports that we read in the newspaper that ranks the city of Little Rock as, number 1, number 2 in crime, many of those reports include the metropolitan area. They will have Conway, North Little Rock, and it's not just Little Rock, but the narrative on Nextdoor and many other social media sites is incorrect. So that's kind of why it's important for you to know what Jim just explained.
A lot of times they do the metropolitan statistical area. The Little Rock metropolitan statistical area is, I think, 7 counties. It includes Faulkner, White, Saline.
Mhm.
It doesn't count Jefferson because Pine Bluff is its own metropolitan statistical area, but there are the 7 surrounding counties are the Little Rock MSA. But our stats are just strictly for our jurisdiction, just the city limits of Little Rock.
To the extent you can talk about it, I mean, how does the police department use sort of the heat maps and time of day stats for purposes of making policing decisions?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm going to stop sharing my map and pull up a map that we shared yesterday during the mayor and the chief's press conference. Some of y'all may have seen that. Let me find it.
I'll email it out to the group as well.
I'll share it. I'll share it with you when I find it. These are heat maps that will show. Let's see. I'll open this one. And let me share my screen so you can see it. All right, this is a heat map that shows violent crime for the last 6 months of 2021, and the grids are positive citizen contacts that the police department made. What we during our weekly ComStat meetings, we go over you can see there's a hot spot right there, another one down here in Southwest, this one out here in Northwest. And we tell the officers, these are your violent crime hotspots. We would like you to not just do traffic stops in these hotspot areas. We want positive citizen contacts. Get out of your car and talk to people. Those are captured by the CAD. And these grids here with numbers in them they are also color coded. Show you the number of citizen contacts within those areas. So you'll see. This area here is the little hotspot, and there's a couple of citizen contacts here, citizen there. So we track this, and we also track them if I can find another one. We also do it with loitering calls because those often generate a lot of calls from neighbors. And let me find loitering. This is just a grid showing citywide loitering calls. You can see the numbers here are higher, 75 just in this one little grid here. This is down along South University. This is Asher and University right here. This is just south of that on University. 56 right just west of Asher and University. River Market gets a lot of loitering calls because a lot of the businesses are really good, conscientious about calling about, hey, I've got a group of people loitering in front of my business, can you run a, and plus we have our own, we have a specialized unit that's assigned strictly to the River Market to cover those. But you'll see, this is the loitering calls for service. This is just for, well, it's for a little over a year and a couple of months. But that's another where we would say, here's where we get a lot of loitering calls. Maybe you want to run an extra patrol through there. You don't have to write a report. You don't have to arrest anybody. Just, see if there's groups loitering. Just make yourself visible. The value of a police car presence cannot be understated. Just mere presence in an area help. You don't have to get out and harass anybody. You don't have to get out and arrest anybody. Just patrol the areas where we have the issues. Many times we find is enough. So those are just two examples where we'll use heat maps to sort of guide patrol patterns. Does that answer your question, sir?
It does. It does. Thank you.
That's all I've got, unless you've got more questions. And if you do, you can always email me or call me.
I guess the only thing I had, and I was looking because I know you had like the keys, I guess you would, the indicators, but like just the explanation that you mentioned earlier. So if we saw like a bunch of those assaults in like one location, and I was trying to see if I could see that to the side. Is it something that would explain that, or is that something that we would actually just have to call in and ask about?
The FBI's category of aggravated assault includes 16 separate Arkansas state statutes. Abuse of an adult is an aggravated assault. But domestic assault, domestic abuse, domestic battery is an aggravated assault. Non-fatal shootings are just one of those 16 categories that are aggravated assaults. We can't on this application drill down just to the non-fatal shootings, because I'm going to wander into the weeds, which I want to do, and it's a failing of mine. There's a difference. I'm not trying to make light of anything. This is just the way I think. There's a difference between the shots and the shot-ats. There's a lot of shot-ats in Little Rock, and thankfully there's a smaller percentage of that where people are actually struck by bullets. We can track that by the statute. Domestic battery or battery in the first degree is usually someone that's struck by, if the weapon is a firearm, it's usually someone that's struck with a gunshot, but it could be stabbed, could be beaten with a baseball bat, it could be run over intentionally with a car. There's just any number of different weapons. So the subgroup of battery first that include a weapon, those are generally considered to be the non-fatal shootings. We'll have in case of in a year, last couple of years, we've had over 200 of those a year, on every couple of days. Does that answer your question? Or I do tend to ramble. It's a failing of mine.
Yeah, you answered a little bit, but what I was just saying in particular, like when you were talking about like that one location and it had like the apartment with like the 20 people, I was just saying, like, if I see that on the map, is that something that I could easily be able to identify on my own and realize that, or is that something I would actually have to reach out to you to get clarification on?
I've closed it. If you note it, let me see if I've still got it open. I'll share my screen again. I've got to fix the time frame. All right, there it is. Turn the dots back on. When you zoom in and you highlight that, it's got an incident number. You'll notice that the incident number for all 24 of these is the same: 15465, 15465. So what you would probably have to do is call me, get a copy of that incident report to read the narrative of it. But you see, there are a couple other incidents. Here's another. It's a different incident close by. That's like it's 6 or 7 of them, all with the same incident number. So that you can sort of mine it for the incident numbers, and then, but that would require a call to me to say, I need a copy of this incident report, or can you tell me what happened in this incident report? So you would have to, I guess it takes a little specialized knowledge to know that if the incident report is the same, it was all the same incident. They're just different victims on that incident. So here's one with 2 victims, but the incident report is the same number. So it's one incident with 2 victims at 1224 Geyer. But to get any more information, you're probably going to have to request a copy of the police report from either the PIO or from the records division, or from me.
Okay. Yeah, that's so yeah, that's the other part I was looking for. Okay.
Thank
And
you
that
so much,
concludes my
Mr. Bur-
presentation.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. That was very informative.
Thank you, Jim. Very helpful.
Thanks, Jim.
All right.
Well, do we have any other matters we need to discuss?
I have one question for you or for Nick. Who will send the minutes from this meeting? Since we don't have Mary Carroll on, and the new secretary will be Marie Smedley.
Let's see. I'm gonna see if I can remember things here. I think we only had 2 votes.
I know, I know. I had Michael made the motion.
On the
to-
minutes.
Yes, sir, and then Nick second. Now, I missed.
And then I think, well, I can say I made the motion on the officers. And I think Nick seconded because the new officer is Michael. So there we
Yes,
go.
sir. You're correct.
Yep. I don't mind drafting up something and circulating and
Okay, and then
get them out. Okay.
Thank-
Very good.
I hope Nick, and I'll get with you and see what your desire is, but to bring some police training to some of the meetings when we don't have a case to review. I don't want to meet, but I think that a lot of things change in the department, and it'd be better if you were up to speed on that. We reached out to the major in training to try to get him to come on this time, and he's recommending quarterly or whatever the board would like in terms of that training. And that training will be on new policies.
So we've had one case, correct?
Yes, we have one pending that is still circulating through the department. Been to civil service. The officer was terminated, ultimately reinstated, then resigned. And at this point, the last thing I heard was I believe he's filed something. I'm not sure what it is.
Okay.
But it was recommended and throughout that transition for a review for the board. And so we can't do it. You guys can't do it until we matriculate through all the other steps. And I don't know if we need to do some maybe, I know you're not looking for work, but some of the complaints that we see, many are just not recommended for review.
Okay.
And so I don't know if there's something maybe we can do. I'm almost afraid to open that can.
Well, I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, look, we are a citizens review board, and if citizens want us to review something,
Mhm.
they can request it. I don't think we need to take it upon ourselves to pick up something that a citizen hasn't specifically requested review.
Oh,
Now we can,
absolutely.
now we certainly probably can do more to let people know that we're here and available and what we do, but beyond that, I don't know.
Yeah.
If there's no.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I don't want people to think there was just a board, but what is the board doing? Because you can't do anything if you don't have referrals.
So this pending case, I guess I don't remember my training. How is this going to ultimately get to us or not get to us?
This one is the Maddox case where he was terminated, civil
Yeah.
service. That's the one. So I I don't know. Is the
Okay.
short answer. I will ask, because obviously my chain, they're not in it. But I know it has to be all closed out, because even though the review is just a review, you don't have the total picture until it makes its way through.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the only one pending. I think there was another out there on Russ Raycott, but he was a no-show for the civil service, and then he was a no-show, for, with it being a no-show there, it couldn't be recommended.
Yeah. Well, Derek and Michael, do you guys want to talk real quick in executive session?
Sure.
Yes,
We
that's
can do
fine.
that.
So, Jim, what do we pull out my rules, because we're live?
We are live.
Yeah, and so to go into executive, I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, there are purposes for executive sessions.
Yeah, there are rules. Now we
So-
can't control once the meeting is ended.
Let's see here, for you.
We can just do this next month.
Okay.
Are we
Okay.
gonna are we gonna stick with WebEx, or are we gonna start going in person again?
You're the chair.
Yeah.
I like WebEx, but I'm more than happy to come downtown.
Okay.
City properties, and Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that we're still closed to the public. Was that correct?
I do not know. I don't want to speculate.
Yeah. We're both at headquarters, and
I prefer in-person meetings, I will say that, but that's just me.
that's your call, Nick.
Okay. Well, it would make executive session much easier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna do it in person. We'll be there.
Well, at least the next, maybe at least the next one, but we can talk.
Okay.
Just let me know. Send me. Well, it's just a matter of whatever you do on the agenda. Just let me know where.
Okay.
If you want it WebEx or in person, we can accommodate however you want to do it.
Okay. Well, thanks to everybody.
All right. Well, congratulations, Nick. And one thing about doing meetings in person is my sixth grader doesn't come in with math homework. So.
We can do that in person too if you want, there, Derek.
I might need some help.
One final thing, we have a lot of community engagement, we being the police department, and I will send invites. You are welcome to come to any of those events. And if you're there, if you'll let me know, I will make sure that you're introduced. This Saturday is Courageous Conversations, which will be at Second Baptist Church. That's Ward 6, on the 19th from 10 until 12. And I'd love to have any of you there. And then on the 26th at 8 a.m., Director Kathy Peck is hosting Pastries with the Police at 8 a.m. at Trios. So those are two, and we'd love to have a member of the board at any of those events. And if you plan to come, let me know so I can make sure that we let everyone know that you're there.
And you said okay. Okay, I got the one written down for the 19th, and you said the other one is the 26th.
26th at Trios. I believe it's 8101 Cantrell.
Yes,
And
yeah.
yeah, that one's being hosted by Director Peck, and she does this once every couple years, where before she opens, she just lets the officers come in, and we invite the community for them to kind of talk to. It's a little bit, it's an upscale coffee with a cop.
Okay, you said it's at 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
Okay.
Laura, you might send that around to everybody,
Okay,
especially because
I will.
we got two missing people.
I'll do that. I will do
Thank
that.
you.
I'll just send it in an email rather than an invite.
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
And I will send Laura a tutorial on the Citizen Connect to include in the same email, so that could help you, guide you through that whole, because I blasted through that thing, so it might answer your questions.
Jim, I had no idea that much information was available. So even though you blew through it, I'm not gonna blow through it. I'm gonna take baby steps through it.
That's fine. That's what I'm here for.
We're waiting on the new chair.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting, please?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Derek. We'll see you next month.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Jim.